Hello, everyone. Welcome to William and the Magic Box. Today on our show, you're going to have Brian. Brian is from California in the USA. So let's see what Brian has to say. Enjoy the interview.
Yeah, how are you doing, William?
Hello, Brian. Very well. How are you doing today?
Oh, great, great.
So tell me.
Just sitting in the booth in the studio. So,
Amazing. So tell me, how's your day going so far?
it's pretty chill. There's really not a lot going on Sunday. I'm just sitting here planning my week out for my content and my I've got some auditions to do. I'm doing a commercial tomorrow, so I'm just sitting here memorizing lines. I've got a bunch of pages this long to memorize for tomorrow at 10. So I've
Oh
got
my God.
my work cut out for me.
How far
So
are you from the memorizing? You got all in now or still work on it?
it's kind of an outline. This is a spokesperson type commercial, so they're going to interview me, and I'm just going to speak on behalf of the company. So it's not like I have to. I just have to be prepared to answer these questions.
Right.
Um, but the first couple of paragraphs of every section, I have to say those exact words. So it'll take me 2 hours to
Wow.
memorize it, and
Amazing.
and then tomorrow I'll just get into it.
So tell me what has been the highlight of your weekend so far?
The highlight. Well, I went and saw my son play lacrosse last night, and he scored a goal. So,
Oh,
uh,
wow.
he, yeah, he just started playing lacrosse. So that's it's always great to see your kids enjoying what they do and succeeding and getting physical and using their body and their mind. And that's I think that's what parents want to do. We want to watch our kids have all the success in life. So.
Totally. Absolutely. And where are you from, Brian?
Well, I'm originally from San Jose, California, and now I live in a place called Rocklin, which is about
Okay.
20 miles east of Sacramento, just right at the base of the Sierra Nevada mountain foothills.
So tell me something interesting about your hometown, something that stands out compared with other places in California.
Well, we're not too far from the gold rush. Up in the Sierra Nevada mountains here is a big time gold rush. So uh, Rocklin has a very unique community here, and there's a train station here in town, and uh, it's got some heritage going back to the gold mining era, and
Wow.
but also it was a huge source for granite back in the day. So a lot of the Capitol building in Sacramento was built from the granite out here in Rockland. So they would load it up on the trains and send it downtown, and the granite's been shipped all over the world.
It's amazing. Oh, wow. All right, so let's start the interview talking about your career as an actor. So tell me how everything started.
So my career in acting, I kind of stumbled into it. I back in high school, I I did a play and I did a musical,
Hmm.
and I started singing and songwriting when I was 15 years old. So music and using my voice has always been part of my life, and I guess it kind of parlayed into the acting later in life. But I wasn't going to graduate high school because I wanted to surf and do other things rather than attend school. So uh, the principal challenged me and he said, "Hey, dude, you're going to do this. Uh, you're going to do this musical." And I think he thought that that was going to freak me out and I wasn't going to do it. So I doubled down and I auditioned for a play. And I really enjoyed it. It was great. I was the guy who got along with everybody in school. So fast forward, I was a musician and
Wow.
recorded a few albums and uh, you know was always active in the music but never acting. And throughout my life, throughout all of the things that I've done in my career, I finally just retired from law enforcement, and
Okay.
that was May of last year. And a couple of years before I retired, I started looking for additional source of income and something that I could do that was fun. So I started voice acting, and
Hmm.
uh, I had a few agents that, um, I started building agents, but one of the agents kept having people pick me off of this casting networks website and say, "Hey, does this guy do on camera? We'd like him to audition for some stuff." So I ended up auditioning for some parts and landing some work, and that just kind of fired me up for the acting bug. And now I'm looking to break into film and TV right now. I'm just working my tail off. So
Wow.
that's the long story, William. That's how I got into it. Nothing I intended to do, but law enforcement is kind of acting in a lot of ways because
Okay.
you want to gain voluntary compliance using your voice and using your communication skill set. And acting is communication. It really is.
Totally. So you said that you retire from a career. So you're a cop in the past.
Yes, yes. I worked for three different agencies, and unfortunately, I was injured. I had multiple injuries on the job and ended up having to medically retire.
Okay.
Back injuries, knee injury, and an Achilles injury. So
Wow.
um, I wasn't able to continue doing it, but it was a great career.
So at the same time, when you're a cop as well, you're as a musician. At the same time, you combine both career or not. You're just focused on your career before.
I never really considered music as a career. Well, I mean, I considered at one point in time doing it full time, but
Hmm.
the music business is, for me, I found that the business aspect of music kind of detracted from the creativity and the performance. And the
Okay.
more you get into the business end of it, the least amount of fun I started to have. And so I think music is just it's a way, in terms of writing, it's a way to kind of, it's cathartic to get things out. And then performing is just, it's a rush, it's a blast. So, as a matter of fact, I just sang with my buddy's band on Friday night for a little bit. But so I still get out there from time to time and rock the
Uh-huh.
microphone. But uh, yeah, I kind of quit performing out live with original bands in 2012 just because that schedule isn't conducive with the law enforcement schedule. So it didn't quite work out.
Amazing. Okay, Brian. So during the interview, I'm going to explore a bit more about your life and also about your journey. Okay. Are you ready to go on a beautiful journey through memories in life and share your point of views?
Sure, let's do it.
Amazing. Welcome to William and the Magic Box. So I
All
have here
right.
my best friend. Round of fun questions. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to play a song just first to relax before the first question, okay?
Okay.
Let's do it. Right, and before I start the game, during the interview, if it comes up a question that you don't want to talk about, you don't want to answer, always can change, okay?
Okay.
Amazing. First question is, what is the most beautiful thing someone has ever said to you?
Boy, that's a stumper, William. I mean, I'll tell you, something came to my mind immediately, and that is, I love you. And when you hear it from your kids or your spouse or your friend, and it's, that they mean it,
Yeah.
um, uh, honestly, I think that's probably the most beautiful thing I've ever heard is to hear that come from somebody and it really, and it hits you and you hear it
Mm-hmm.
and it's real. So that's my answer, buddy. That's my answer.
And what's the biggest joy of being a dad?
Watching your kids come into their own. Uh, you know, when I had kids, I didn't realize that there was a hole in my life. I didn't really realize that something was missing.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I think that probably every parent feels that.
Yeah.
But it's kind of watching your kids, giving them the space to explore their lives and not being overbearing and controlling, and just kind
Mm-hmm.
of guiding them along to where they eventually make their own decisions, and then they start coming into their own, and just really kind of establishing who they are as individuals.
And so far, what has been the most meaningful lesson you've learned from them?
I would say patience, you know, because I think human nature is to really kind of want to help, at least for me as a man. It's really to try to get involved in everything and try to help and do things. And uh, sometimes you just have to step back and be patient and
Yep.
let them figure these things out on their own. So I'd say above all, patience.
Yeah, I think being around kids, of course you are guides then, you are teaching, how to navigate through life, but at the same time you learn a lot with them. I think sometimes you go like, my God, that's something new or something that I didn't think this way, or maybe something that was a different way of, wondering, if you know what I
Yeah, I
mean.
think sometimes people think if they heard that and didn't hear what I said, um, people think patience as a kind of a negative connotation, meaning like, oh, my kids drive me crazy, or they're this or they're that,
Yeah,
or it's really for me, it's not that way. It's more just trying to step back. As a parent, of course, you're going to get frustrated, you're going to get upset, but that
totally.
can't be what you focus on. You have to focus on um, being giving them the grace to be able to figure things out. So, yeah, definitely patience.
And sometimes some lessons they need to learn on their own way. You know what I mean? There's not like, okay, I'm gonna teach you that you cannot do that. There's no even way for you to do that. They just need to step in some path that's the way they're gonna learn. I know sometimes it can be painful because you're gonna hurt them somehow, but it's just the way life is.
Yeah, my life was a school of hard knocks, man. I had a little unconventional upbringing, so but for me, it's like uh, bang your head against the wall a few times and figure it out.
Yeah.
Sometimes you got to feel the pain to push through and figure out what it is that you want to do. So I'm okay with the bumps. I'm okay with the bumps and bruises. They just make you who you are.
Next question, Brian. Let's do it.
Okay.
Okay, next question for you is which season of the year you feel more connected with and why?
Oh, I would say definitely summer.
Why is that?
Summer, the seasonality here is um, it's not like uh, you know near the equator where you've got a little bit more consistent. You might have a lot of heavy moisture, that kind of stuff, but there is fairly significant seasons here. Winter is definitely cold and rainy. So I love the sun. I love being in the water, and I just love the overall feeling of not being bundled up in clothing and wearing the flip flops and shorts. And I'm a shorts, t-shirt, and flip flops guy. Um, and it does bring me back to the my fondest memories of my childhood, which is basically surfing and spending time at the ocean and being kind of in nature. And it also brings me back to the best memories with my kids and with my wife, just vacationing and kind of being free and not having stress or worries. Summer is like that whole vibe. It's like no stress, no worries, enjoy your life, and get some sun on your body. And definitely, I'm a summer guy for sure.
Is your birthday around summertime as well?
It's May 20th. Yes, sir. It's
Somebody
right
who,
approaching. So,
and do you like celebrating birthdays?
yeah, yeah. I mean, as you get older, obviously it's just kind of starts to be another date. I mean, I do believe that, you should live every day like it's your last.
Mhm.
And sometimes it's always hard to keep that top of mind. But yeah, I like celebrating the birthdays. But as I get older, I kind of wish they would take a little bit more time to get here. So,
Aging for you is something that bothers you, or you just see as a matter of life?
well, kind of both. I think,
Mhm.
you know, I've had some significant injuries and some significant health issues in my life, and they've robbed me of many months and years. Like right now, I live with chronic pain. I got a real bad back, and I've got a bad knee issue. So I'm not as active as I would like to be, and I'm not living life to the fullest as I would like to be right now.
Hmm.
But I make do with I do the best that I can every day, and I know that every day is a gift, and I do try to enjoy it. But yeah, aging it's tough because physically I feel a lot older than I am. Um,
Right.
but mentally, no. I am trying to reverse it though. So I've been dieting. I've lost some weight. My blood works great, all that kind of stuff. But I think it's really just the chronic pain that keeps that thing in my mind saying, "Damn, aging kind of sucks." But no, really, hey, it's just part of life. It's just part of the seasons of moving through it, and there's pros and cons to all of it.
It's interesting you saying that because I was at the gym on Friday and I put my music on and I feel like this vibe, like, okay, I'm gonna do my best, I'm gonna work out. At one point, I was doing this exercise and I was like, my God, 10 years ago, I didn't feel that. For
Yeah,
me, 10 years ago, I was like, oh my God, I could do that so faster. And I was literally, you know what I mean, feeling this energy. And I felt like, oh my God, it's not the same anymore. You know what I mean? As you mentioned, of course, aging is a beauty behind. I think there's aging something nice. I think it's a gift every day when you know that you're aging certain, the age we are right now. However, when your mind doesn't, you know what I mean, combine with your physical, it can be pain sometimes. You're like, oh, I wasn't feeling that
yeah,
before.
yeah. Mentally, I'm like 17 or 18. Um, I'm a big fun-loving goofball, but yeah, physically, I walk around like I'm. Hey, you know what? And I have plenty of family in my life that are um, and friends that get around better than I do at my age. So,
Right.
and that's not to say, hey, look, I'm not, I don't walk around completely disabled. It's just a lot of pain, but I'm working through it. I mean, I have some options.
Sure.
So, uh,
Absolutely.
but, uh, but nonetheless, yeah, I feel sometimes aging's tough.
Next question, let's do it. Okay, so before the next question, what's the biggest joy of acting? What do you like the most about it? And of course, also, voice acting.
Acting in general, really the biggest joy is is really connecting with a story and
Hmm.
or a script or a piece of copy and looking at it, understanding and extrapolating the essence of what it is. And you can rehearse things all you want, and you can have thoughts and ideas of how you're going to approach this, but when you start working with a scene partner, they're going to deliver their lines. And if you're listening and you're allowing this to hit you and you are genuinely reacting uh, as yourself, but
Hmm.
you're telling this particular story, um, it's kind of magic, it's joyful to be in the moment with somebody, communicating this this story, and it doesn't matter. It could be big or small. I could be sitting in here by myself recording a piece
Hmm.
of voiceover copy, um, and it's not about how you sound. It's not about how you look. It's just about how you can deliver the story in the most grounded fashion that you can. And that's the magical part, especially when you're working with somebody else or other people, is just making that magic by really interacting with everybody that's there and present. It just makes for it's a great time.
And the opposite side, what do you find most challenging about it?
The challenging part is, I guess the most challenging part is, and it's a lot of actors will lie about it. or they won't be, they'll tell you they won't be truthful. And I'm not saying actors are liars, but what I'm saying is nobody wants to talk about the rejection because
Hmm.
and it's hard because you really can't view things as rejection. There's a million things that a casting director has to do. And when somebody's casting a project, um, sometimes they're looking for an ensemble. And sometimes if you are a standout, sometimes that doesn't fit into the ensemble or, um, you know, they have an idea of who they're looking for and you had a killer performance, but it's just not exactly what they had in mind. And
Hmm.
sometimes they don't know what they have in mind. Sometimes they could give you specs on this character and then they hear something and they're like, whoa, I hadn't anticipated that. So even though you delivered an awesome performance or, everything was great, they're going with somebody for a nuance. So, um, but it's hard, right? I mean, so y the mindset of an actor is you have to understand that what you're doing in rehearsal, what you're doing studying scripts, what you're doing in self-tape auditions, all of that is the work.
Hmm.
And um, and the bookings will come and the projects will come if you just continue to do what you do. If you're in your acting lanes and you're in your zone and you are being a professional and you're easy to work with, that stuff just shows up.
I see. Yeah, I think there's always, every career you do, there's always the pros and cons. There's always something that's not gonna, it's just need to go through it. It's the only way to go
Yeah,
and
it's
learn.
funny. People said I can never be a cop, right? Um, I have people tell me that all the time. Well, I mean, yeah, there's pros and cons to everything. Working in law enforcement is actually kind of liberating because you're out there on your own. You have your team and you have your partners. That's not what I don't mean you're alone, but
Mhm.
you kind of do things um, the way that you do things, and you don't really have anybody breathing down your neck. If you're a good cop and you do things according to the law and you treat people kind and fair and morally and ethically, you're going to enjoy your career, and it's a very unique opportunity to help people on their worst days. Um, but would I want to be, could I be a dispatcher or could I be an accountant? Um, no, it's not my DNA. I couldn't do it. So it's like one of those things where there are pros and cons, and then there's things that we have aptitude for and things that we don't have aptitude for, right? So yeah, interesting.
Amazing. Next question is, if you won the lottery, what would be your first big splurge?
It really depends on how much. um, honestly, like the big splurge would be to do something that was life changing for a family. You know,
Right.
um, you know, just and it could just be simple things. Paying off my mom's house or you know putting a bunch of money in savings accounts for my kids or in investments for my kids or taking my wife on that you know vacation to Spain and Italy. You know what I mean? Matter of
Mhm.
fact, that's 100% what I would do first is I would take my wife to Spain and to Italy. That's where I would take her, like right away. So, yeah, but definitely more intrinsic things. I'm one of those guys. I've never wanted or needed things like I don't
Mhm.
need boats and fancy cars and the latest and greatest gadgetry. I'm pretty simple like that. So I would probably tend to want to spend on other people.
Do you believe that happiness is a choice?
That happiness is a choice? Is that your question?
Yeah, they believe that happiness is a joy.
Well, you know, it's funny you brought that up. My favorite historical human being is President Abraham Lincoln. You know, United States uh, President Abraham Lincoln, and he coined a phrase. I did a report on him in fifth grade, right?
Wow.
And his phrase was, "Most folks are about as happy as they make up their minds to be." And when you really dissect what he said, and you really listen to it, and
Mm-hmm.
you think about the times in your life where you were unhappy and you just let everything around you get to you, I do believe that we can achieve a state of gratitude
Mm-hmm.
and thankfulness that we don't have to that we can stay busy, and we could stay thinking positively, and we could do things in our life as a conscious decision to be happy. You know, there's people who are um, there's people who are overweight, or they've lost their legs, or they've become addicted to alcohol or narcotics, and by virtue of their mind, they've made a conscious decision to make a change for what
Mm-hmm.
they see as a better in their life. And if you have that kind of power, I think you have the power to make yourself happy. With that said, I've studied abnormal psychology. Um, you know, I was a crisis negotiator, and I worked in law enforcement. And one of the things that I really enjoyed studying was, abnormal psychology, and what drugs do to a person, and how we self medicate, and the psychological aspect of humanity. And there are people who uh, really have a difficult time or are incapable of doing that. So with a with a light grain of salt, I say that most folks are about as happy as they make up their minds to be. And I'm 54, and I never forgot it the moment I read it. So long, long worded answer, brother. But
No, I love it. I love your
yeah,
point, and I understand what you mean. And I think all of us we aim to be happy. It's something that we want to be, but sometimes just not there for different reasons or for different occasions, different aspects. But I think we try to be happy all the time, or most of the time. Yeah.
yeah,
3 questions left. Let's do it.
okay.
You like dancing?
You know what? I do. As a matter of fact, I did Friday night. But uh, yeah, I just like to go out and have a good time. My wife likes to dance, so I'm going to dance with her.
Next question is, tell us about your guilty pleasure.
Guilty pleasure. Well, which one? Which one are you talking about? Um, Boy, so I'm on a ketogenic diet right now because of my injuries. I wasn't able to be physical like I had been. But man, I love a bowl of vanilla ice cream with chocolate syrup. But I have not had sugar, bread, potatoes, rice, anything since January 16th. But I was 226 pounds. I'm now 202, 202 pounds roughly this morning. So that's a
Wow.
lot since January 16th. That is my
Wow.
guilty pleasure. So I might have to deflect to, I like to play poker. So, uh,
Hey.
so I like to go play, basically Texas Hold'em. And, because it helps me kind of get my mind off of things, and I could just kind of sit there and think about whatever, and also have conversation with people at the table. A lot of times you end up playing with, some retired guys or some kids, or whatever, and I just find it really interesting to talk to people, and play poker with them. But I guess I'll have to say that's my guilty pleasure right now. Take a little time out and sit at the poker table.
What's the biggest joy of being Brian? What do you like the most about being you?
Um, honestly, not making excuses for the adversity that I face in my life,
Yeah.
and being able to stand here today and be alive. Uh, so I had a I had a tough childhood. Um, I
Mhm.
won't I won't get into that because boy, that we could talk about that for an hour and a half. But but I made a conscious decision when I was about 17 that I didn't like the trajectory that I was on. I didn't like who I was, and never got in trouble with the law or anything like that. But I just I went through a lot of adversity as a kid, and then I had a lot of adversity physically. I had my face was smashed in here, and I've had 5 facial and sinus reconstructive surgeries. I had a brain fluid leak that was my brain sac was perforated up here, and basically they had to do blood patching. They've taken cartilage from my ear and put it in between my nose. This is all just it was just a total mess. Uh,
Oh,
I had sepsis and gangrene from a misdiagnosed appendicitis. That almost killed me in 2018. I've just had a lot of
wow.
stuff. I've had a back fusion, just a bunch of stuff. So, and I owned a construction company that I started that I thought I was going to pass down to my kids. And when we had this economic downturn in the United States around between 2006 2008, I lost that construction company, and I got completely bankrupted when I had a toddler and my wife was pregnant with our twin boys. So
Oh,
um, when I tell you I've been through a couple of tornadoes and a couple of hurricanes and whatnots, I have. But through it all, I've managed to maintain a get it done attitude, and and I'm still standing. And
oh.
our family's doing great. I've been able to provide uh, through all of that, and I've been able to keep my head straight and just kind of pivot and still be able to sit here with a smile on my face.
Wow, that was a very interesting answer, Brian. Thanks for sharing that event in life. I think just who go through that can tell, can, understand as well. Tough question for you now. If you had the superpower of somehow erasing those situations, it start with your childhood, that you mentioned a few times, would you take it out or would you keep it knowing the person you are today?
Um, it's a really good question. I think that being unique and being an individual and being who you are is your most powerful asset. And we're born with our temperament, and we're born with our somewhat our ability to cope, and we have some of our personality traits and things like that. But the rest is formed by our life, our experiences, and what we've been through. And so for me, um, I really wouldn't want to change it. Sometimes I think about some of the things that decisions I've made in my life, and I regret it, but then I see the purpose of going through that. So I would say no. I'm happy to be who I am. You know what? I'm not perfect, and there's not a human being on earth that is perfect. So yeah, I wouldn't change it. I just wouldn't.
And what's the meaning of life for you when you think about life?
I don't know. I'll find out when I'm done. I think that's you know I think that's I think that's what you find out when you pass, is you kind of get the meaning of it. But I will tell you, I believe that this life is intended for us to enjoy and to shine light in the dark places, and to be as positive as possible. And that's hey, I'm not perfect and I fall short all the time, uh, but I do believe that that's what we are called to do. But I'll find out when it's done.
And let me know, okay?
I'll let you know. I'll send you a message if I go first.
Two questions left. Let's do it. Okay, so before the next question, of course, it's a cup. Yeah, I'm sure you have a lot of situations. We have a lot of challenge moments as well. I'm not sure if you can talk about. You can talk. Okay, talk about it or no? It's gonna
Yeah,
be a,
yeah,
yeah. Okay.
yeah, yeah.
So as a cup, I'm sure you had situations through it working. Um, Tell me a situation that's maybe you're never gonna forget, or something that could be something positive as well, something through your career that when you look back, you go like, you know what, this situation always hold close to my heart. If you could share.
Well, there's a lot of great situations that happen that you'll remember. For me, my career, I had a lot of very positive moments and a lot of very difficult moments. Um, my 18-year-old niece was with me when I went to a domestic violence call, and as I get there on scene, his kids are running out and they're saying, "Yeah, he's got a firearm," and he ended up coming out, and I've got my niece to think of, who's 25 feet away from me, and I'm trying to balance my attention between the kids, what's going on in this house, my partners that are arriving on scene, and he just comes out and he starts shooting. So I won't get into the details of how that ended up, but but it was a very significant event, um, and it caused some problems for me, in terms of a kind of traumatic stress.
Mhm.
That coupled with the fact that the first agency that I worked for, there was a significant amount. Like I had no idea getting into law enforcement how much death I would encounter,
Wow.
and it was a lot. It was overwhelming. I had 3 suicides, so I was working weekend day shifts at the time, and I worked Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, or excuse me, Saturday, Sunday, Monday were day shift. Um, and you start at 6 a.m. and you're done at 6:30 p.m. It's 12 and a half hour shifts. And
Hmm.
I had a suicide before I could get out of my briefing each day, 3 days in a row. And so, yes, those are traumatic things that just stick with you. And, people say they just, a lot of cops will tell you, oh, they just brush it off. And yeah, I mean, you process that stuff as a
Hmm.
working person because that's your job. But that stuff does pile up. It kind of goes in this backpack in your brain, and sometimes that backpack gets too full, and you either can't carry it or it bubbles over, and those rocks start hitting you in the head. So that's something I had to deal with. On a positive note, there were so many things that we did in
Hmm.
law enforcement, but the one thing that I remember every single year was we did a shop with a cop, and we also would raise funds and get all kinds of Christmas presents. And I'm telling you, a tremendous amount, like a gigantic room full of Christmas presents, Christmas trees, couches, beds, and we would families would get nominated who basically had nothing. They would have like an apartment with one mattress on the floor and nothing, and we would show up and drop off a Christmas tree, beds, bikes, clothes, a
Wow.
refrigerator, fill the refrigerator, fill the pantry with food, and we would just show up and literally put the entire, uh, fill up this house with everything that you would need as a functioning
Wow.
family, and it was just amazing. Uh, those are the moments that I will never forget about law enforcement that were positive. Uh, and I could go on and on and on about the positive stuff too. So
Wow.
yeah,
Yeah, just got goosebumps now saying that, Brian. And
yep,
such
me
a
too, man.
no, such a beautiful, gesture. Imagine, I just put myself picturing those people, their feeling of having that on this Christmas period, which is, As we know, it's such a time of the year where people there get together. It's always food on the plate. There's always something special. Imagine those people knowing that they're gonna have that moment fill up with food, with a comfort place to be. I
Yeah.
think it's wow, it's unique.
Yeah, it was
Wow,
beautiful. It was awesome. I loved it.
wow, amazing. Okay, next question is there a dream you always had?
Gosh, I don't know. A dream that I always had. You know, I always kind of wanted to play at. I always kind of wanted to play at a stadium. Uh, as a musician, there's something about performance when people are singing your music
Mhm.
uh, that you wrote and they're singing it back to you and they're really enjoying it. To be able to do that in a gigantic way was always a dream of mine. I'm 54 now, so hey, I don't rule anything out ever. So you never know. I could get that chance someday, but right now, yeah, that was always a dream of mine. I do have another dream though,
Okay,
and that was always to have a family homestead like they did, you know, uh, you know, back in the day. Where basically your grandma, grandpa, great grandma, great grandpa, mom, dad, uncles, cousins, siblings, everybody just lived on a gigantic homestead in this colonial manor type of thing. And, you just had your farm and your livestock and your property. And, you know, just having a massive family all living together, uh, I just always thought would be amazing, and it's probably just because I had a little bit of the absence of that as a kid. So, but yeah, that was. I guess I had two dreams, William. Those two. So,
amazing. And what would be the title of your memoir one day?
I'm gonna need a minute to think about that. The title of my memoir someday. Um, you know what? I'm gonna ask you, William. What would you title it?
Well, I can tell you straight away, the title of my memoir one day would be Everything's Possible. That would
Yeah.
be my memoir, Everything's Possible, literally. If you put your time, your passion, your hard work, trust me. If you believe it, not just believe it, but you feel it, like that you can do it. Trust me, Brian, everything's possible. That will be the title of my memoir for sure.
Yeah, well, I am actually starting a podcast. It's a vodcast podcast with a good friend of mine,
Okay,
Leah Fraser. She's also an actress, and we kind of have had kind of similar lives in a lot of ways. And it's called Grit and Spotlight. And
okay,
so I don't know. I might name. I would maybe name it Grit and Spotlight, but um, I don't know. That's a good question, and it's something I'm going to give some thought to, William,
okay,
because I have a lot of potential titles for a memoir. That's for sure.
amazing. Last question, ready?
Yeah.
Do it, last one. Right, before the last question, people watch this interview, maybe they would like, to start a career as a cop, yeah, as your profession in the past. What would be your best piece of advice for those people?
My best advice for anybody that's
Mhm.
looking to do anything with their life is to do what brings you to life. There is no greater feeling than doing something that you feel that you were truly meant to do. And I've really done a tremendous amount of things in my life, but none of them was more gratifying than being in law enforcement. And that's because I feel that I was born and I was built to do it at the time that I did it. At the time I got into it, I was older and I had a tremendous amount of life experience. And it was just a solid fit for me. Don't chase money. Don't chase money. Do things because you absolutely feel it in your core, and try everything. When you are young, in your 20s, even in your 30s, you can make a gajillion different choices and you could change things a gajillion different times. If you know what you want to do and you're passionate about it when you're young, even if you're in high school and you get out, and it's not all about a college degree. Trades are wonderful.
Yeah.
Trades are wonderful. You can make a ton of money and feel great about what it is that you do every day. But my advice to anybody is do what brings you to life,
Wow.
because you won't feel like you're working. You're just going to enjoy it all the time. And yes, it's going to suck sometimes. Get used
Yeah.
to it. I mean, nothing's perfect, but just do what brings you to life. And I hope that you find it.
Amazing. Last question is, good question. If you could sit down with your 13-year-old self, what would you say?
Sitting with my 13-year-old self, I would say what I just said, which was,
Wow.
which was, and I would add some things to that. I would say, look, make good decisions. Make good decisions, because everything that you do now is a ripple into your future. The decisions that you make now are going to have an impact on your future. And one wrong decision, I mean, shoot, at working in law enforcement, I've seen young people tragically lose their lives from a simple decision. Um, it's okay to say no. It's okay to say no. It's okay if you don't feel comfortable. The weird thing about humans is we will ignore that primal part of our brain that says don't do something. We will ignore it. We will
Yes.
suppress it and we'll do the stupid thing. So it's okay to say no, make good decisions. Everything's going to be okay. And enjoy your life.
Yeah, I think that's our intuition talking to us. Sometimes we're gonna do something that you can see is wrong. You feel it that it's not the right thing to do, or I feel like it's our intuition talking to us, and sometimes you just ignore it, and it can bring us sadness or maybe wrong choices. And yeah,
Well,
that,
we want to be accepted. Everybody wants to feel like they belong somewhere.
yeah,
And I think a lot of the source of making bad decisions is that sense that you feel like you have to be connected and belong somewhere.
mhm,
Um, and that is that that's false. You just be yourself, because
mhm,
people, what they want is you. They just want you to be yourself. They don't want you to follow other people. They don't. People are attracted to unique individuals.
totally.
Um,
Yeah.
people who think for themselves. Um, you know, Fortunately for me, when I was a kid, I didn't have to grow up with cell phones and the internet. And I think there was a lot more freedom in that
Yeah,
life.
for
So,
sure.
anyways,
Amazing.
that's what I would say to my 13-year-old self.
Great. So then, yet, let's play now the word association game, okay? I'm going to say some words. Just the one word that comes to your mind. Quick thinking. Let's start with money,
A useful tool.
fear,
Fake.
family,
Wonderful.
life,
How many words do I get? One word.
one word,
Meaningful.
love,
I'm looking for the best word for needed, like necessary, um,
great
abundant.
fun.
Yeah.
The list goes on and on and on.
Yes.
Politics,
Deceitful.
that was very quick, easy.
Hmm.
Sex,
Which sense of that word are you talking about?
what comes to your mind when I say sex?
Uh, I would also have to say the first word that came to my mind was procreation. But
Multiple.
yeah,
Yeah. Um, Friendship,
rare.
desire,
I keep wanting to say necessary for everything that you're saying. That's the word that just keeps popping in my head. De- desire, drive.
Okay. Regret,
Don't stay there too long.
success,
Why this is tough, William, with one word. I'm a wordy guy. Success is a trophy.
wish,
Keep it.
happiness.
The best.
One word for California.
Beautiful.
USA, one word.
Patriotic.
One word for a cup.
A cup?
Yeah, as your profession as a cup.
Oh, a
One word.
profession? Heroic.
And the last one now, acting. One word.
Creative.
Actually, one more. One word for music.
Life's blood.
Interesting.
Gotta have it.
Let's pretend now I'm going to meet your wife for a coffee, and I'm going to ask her, define Bryan in one positive and one negative word only. What should say about you?
Positive. Caring.
Okay. Negative?
Self-deprecating.
Okay. Let's play now, Bryan, in the magic box, and you can ask me a question. But before you ask me the question, tell me what music has taught you.
Music has taught me that rhythm, melody, harmony, vibration, sound, at its simplest form to its most orchestrated, is universal. That the majority of people that I know, you know, even animals can feel it, and they want to move to it, and I think human beings just, it's innate, it's in our DNA, we feel it. It can make us feel things. It's really, I just think it's the universal language. It really is.
It's so amazing how music can take you to memories, to places, connection with others. It's even when you're feeling sad or down, if you have music around you, it makes you feel better. You're not gonna resolve your problem, but you're gonna feel better about the feeling you are at the moment. I think it's great.
Yeah, yeah. It can bring you right out of a dark spot,
Totally.
or it could put you there. You
Yeah,
could hear something and it
yeah.
just takes you back to a memory, and you're like, oh boy,
Straight
wow, I
straight
didn't
away.
expect that.
Okay, Bryan, can I ask me a question now?
All right, boy, I could ask you a lot of questions, William, but um, and this is not show specific. This is not your um, what you're doing specific, but I just want to know what brought you to want to reach out and contact people across the world. And it's, you have a lot of followers, and you have a lot of videos, and you conducted a lot of interviews. And certainly I can move to another question, but I just want to know what really got you excited about doing this, and how did this become your passion?
Wow, great question. It's interesting, Brian, that I strongly believe that all of us, we can do different things in life and still feel the happiest. You know what I mean? I think we our tendency, we can get passionate about path. You mentioned before about when you do something that you like, it doesn't feel like a job. Saying that, I could do different things in my life, and I'm sure I would feel great, and I would enjoy, and I would feel like, okay, I meant to be doing this. But and I always admire people. I remember, like, before I started doing the show, it's funny because before I started the show in 2020, I was talking to a friend, an English friend, and we were talking about profession, about things. And he said how much he enjoyed his career, his job, and he didn't feel like work. And I told him, I said, look, I literally would love to have this feeling one day. I literally would love to. And again, I have 9 to 5 jobs. I have, things that I love doing it. But I would like to have this feeling one day. And I remember telling him, I'm sure I will. I told him, I'm sure one day. I don't know how, I don't know what, and I'm sure one day I'm gonna be able to tell you that I wake up every morning and I go to bed every morning knowing that I'm gonna do something that I like it. Anyway, long story short, I went for a run in the park here in England during the COVID. You could leave the house once a day for exercise. So you could go to the park, you could go for a run, you could do something in like 1 hour per day. And I was going for a run, and I love running, I love exercise, and of course, when you are doing exercise, your mind just clear you up and have be more creative and things go in the right place. And before that, I was already thinking, my God, I want to do something on YouTube where I can connect with people, where I can express myself. But again, there are so many creative people around the globe doing beautiful things, and I just want to do something different, something that I could be myself, literally. But I didn't know what I could do. And you talk about music. I want to do something with music because music moves me. I love music. But again, you cannot use music on shows because of copyrights, this and that. Anyway, I'm going around, but I'm going to get to the point. One day, I remember when I went for a run in the park during COVID. And Brian, I remember the moments, I remember the place, and this idea came along. And I remember I was running and I was like, I stopped for a minute. I was like, my God, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to research some questions. I'm going to write some questions. And literally, I'm going to invite random people around the globe to see their opinion. I remember I have a picture. I went back home and I started writing questions. I started, research some questions. But back to your question, what the big inspiration for me for the show, what makes me passionate about it, what gives that's the best William anyone can have. When I'm here, that's the best of me. It's people. You have no idea how people are fascinating, how people, for example, you share so much about your life today. And again, it's very inspiring. It's very, beautiful to see someone talking so open about certain situations. And I think for me, the big inspiration for me is about people. That's what drives me every day to sit here. The best part of the show for me, when I send the request and I keep here like waiting, like very excited because I'm going to connect with someone that I never met before. I'm sure I'm going to learn something new. I'm going to, sometimes I don't see in the interview because I'm here very excited. But when I'm alone, in a very quiet place, editing the interview, that's where I go like, my God, that's interesting. And sometimes I go back again, just to hear a little bit more about that, just for me to get it and to remember. So I could go on and on. I feel very excited talking about that, Brian. But it's just about people. I love people. I think the show has been everywhere in the world, every continent in the world. And it's so fascinating to see people talking about different topics, different opinions, different point of views without any judgments. I think that's the main thing about the show. People, they come here, they feel safe, they feel that they can talk a little bit more about something that maybe they never shared before. They feel emotional, they feel happy, they feel excited. And I think that's what fascinates me because I feel the energy. I love it. I love being here. I love sitting here and doing the show. It's just about people. The main thing for me, and back to my friend's conversation, I wake up every morning thinking about the show, and I go to bed
Yeah.
every morning thinking about every night thinking about the show. And it, not just that, if I'm traveling, if I'm everything I do, there's always the magic box here in the back of my mind, because it's just something that's it meant to be for me. If I'll see someone doing that, I'll be like, my God, that's exciting. And I'm so grateful for life to have given that to me, because trust me, I feel like this show it meant to be for me because it brings the best of me. It's a therapy every single day, Brian. For me, it's something that moves me every day. Knowing that I'm gonna connect with someone. My God, we are in California. I'm in the UK. We are, long distance, and it's
Yeah.
technology. I grew up in the 80s, and I've never in my life, when I was a child, a teenager, I would think that one day in the future, I would be able to connect with so many people on the globe through my phone. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's
So
wonderful.
it's wonderful. It's amazing. So I'm going on and on just because, but for me, the main things about people, Brian, I couldn't do that alone, that's for sure. I couldn't just sit down here and, ask questions for anyone. So I think it's a connection here that I love doing the show. And people fascinates me every single day, because I could tell so many stories about things that I've learned, that I became a better person every single day just talking to people around the globe through random questions. So yeah, that's my answer for you.
Yeah. Very cool. Yeah. I was, you never know how you come to that answer, but that was probably the best answer you could have given, just because it's what you're supposed to be doing with your life. This is what you found it,
Totally.
and I just hope that everybody watching this finds what they're supposed to be doing. So yeah. Anyway, thank you for answering.
Did you enjoy the interview?
Yeah, it was great. Yeah, it was fun. It's just I'm a people person too, and I like sharing. I'm a pretty open book. I don't uh,
Uh-huh,
I don't keep the cards close to the chest. If I can help somebody else out with my life experience, then
for sure.
it'll make someone feel like they're not alone. And if you want to reach out to me, if you're looking for a voiceover or an actor or a spokesperson or some user generated contact, I can be reached at www.bryangoreactor.com. And I'm also on Instagram, Bryan Gore. I don't know my Insta handle, but I'm sure William can put it in the link.
Yes, for
That's
sure. Amazing. Thanks again, Brian. Thanks for being so kind and accepting the invitation, and also thanks for being so open and talk about your life story. I think it's great, and I hope, as you mentioned before, I just hope people watch this interview somehow they might connect with you, and also understanding that there's sometimes we think we're alone, facing situations or had situations in the past, but we're never alone. There's always someone who maybe went through the same situation or maybe faced the same situation. And when you talk about it, I think it's amazing because people they would know that not alone out there. Thanks again for being so
yeah.
open. And
Thank
before
you a
you
million.
go, if you can share a positive message or anything that you live by.
Just a positive message is just be grateful in
Yep.
all circumstances, no matter how deep or how dirty or horrible they are.
Hmm.
We all can find something to be grateful for, and I think that gratefulness can ground you uh, into a positive mindset. Um, there's kids that play with the soccer balls made out of rolled up newspaper with tape on them, and they go days on end without a meal, but yet somehow they have a smile on their face and they're grateful for the small things. So just find gratitude if you can. If you're in that mindset, it'll really kind of help you get out of any negative mindset.
Amazing. Very good. Again, regards to your friends, to your family, and you keep in touch. It was a pleasure to have you on the show. Okay, enjoy your day.
All right, thank you, Will. Me too. See ya.
Take care. Bye bye. See you.
Bye.
So, did you like the show? Don't forget to give a like, share it, and also don't forget to subscribe to the channel. And if you'd like to be part of the show as well, First, subscribe to our channel, and after that, just go to our website www.williamandthemagicbox.com and send us a request saying why you'd like to be part of the show. And I see you there. Bye bye, see you next time.